What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to JohnnyKpicks. And in this video, I'm going to go over all my bets so far for UFC Vegas 53, Font versus Vera. As always, please hit that like button, make friends with that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on any of my new videos or live streams. So last weekend was UFC Vegas 52, and honestly, I really thought it was a tough card for betting. But nevertheless, I ended up going 4-4 on my bets, winning plus 0.56 units profit. So if you're keeping tally, that does make 3 winning fight cards in a row, even though 2 of those 3 weren't really that profitable, but hey, profit is profit. And hopefully this week we can get back to the winning ways. We can get maybe 3 or 4 units profit or even more, which I'm totally cool with. So without further ado, let's get to my bet so far for UFC Vegas 53. The first bet I have is an underdog bet. I bet 1 unit on Vera to win, and I got that at plus 120. So I really think this is going to be a competitive fight early on, but I think as the fight goes on, I think Vera's going to take over. And for me, the only way Font's going to win this is if he outpoints Vera for 5 straight rounds, because I don't see him finishing Vera at all. I do think Vera is the more dangerous fighter. I think he's more of the knockout threat. I think he's better grappling, and he does have really good submissions. And another thing, in Font's last fight against Aldo, I think Aldo gave a good blueprint how to beat Font, and I do think Vera can duplicate what Aldo did. So with all that being said, I like Vera to get the late finisher, maybe in the 3rd or 4th round by submission. The next bet I have is another underdog bet. I bet 1 unit on Lines to win, and I got that at plus 125. So this is a weird one for me because the other day when I looked at these lines, it was basically a pick'em, and all of a sudden all this green money came in, and I guess everybody loves green. And honestly, I just don't see it. The biggest red flag for me though is green is super hittable, and Yawn has power in his hands, and if he lands that one shot early on, I think he'll be able to knock him out. And another thing to note here is after Green's last fight, he did have a couple injuries, and he hasn't fought in a little over a year. And I'm not saying Green's a bum by any means. He's a pretty solid fighter. I just think Yawn's a little bit more dangerous. He has really good striking. And I do think he'll be able to catch Green's chin eventually, like I said, in the first, maybe early 2nd round. The third bet I have is a 2-fighter parlay. I bet 1 unit on Levy and Dawson to win, and I got that at plus 149. So with Levy, I really like this matchup for him. He's definitely going to have the clear advantage on the mat with his grappling and wrestling and submissions. And even on the feet, I do think he can make it competitive, but I fully expect Levy to take this fight to the mat eventually and either get a submission or a decision win. And with Dawson, like I said in my picks video, I think both these guys are pretty close to being the same fighter, but I like Dawson a little bit better in all those categories. And to me, wherever this fight takes place, I do think Dawson's going to be better on the feet. I think he's going to be better on the mat. I think he's going to have the better wrestling. And I do think he's going to be able to bounce back from that draw that kind of left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. But I like Dawson to get a decision win here. The next bet I have is another 2-fighter parlay. I bet 1.25 units on Taira and Feely to win, and I got that at minus 103. So just like with the Yawn line, I think Taira's betting line started around minus 300, and now it's at like minus 230. And again, I really don't see why all of a sudden his line's dropping that bad. I mean, sure, it's Taira's UFC debut, and he's super young at age 22, but it's also Candelario's UFC debut as well, and honestly, I don't think he's that impressive. And if you watch some of Taira's fights, he has really good grappling, and his striking is pretty good as well. I just think he has more potential and more skills than Candelario, so I like him to get the submission win early on in the 1st round. And with Feely, I think he's the better fighter overall. I think he has the better wrestling. He has good cardio. He has good striking. And Brito might look good in the 1st round, but after that, his cardio tends to fade real bad. And that's where I think Feely is going to be able to take over in rounds 2 and 3. So even if Brito wins round 1, I can see Feely winning this one by decision, 29-28. And last but not least, back by popular demand, Johnny K's Hail Mary Parlay. So I bet 0.5 units on 5 different fighters. I have Feely, Levy, Dawson, Orlovsky, and Mazzani to win, and I got that at plus 843. So I just went over why I like Feely, Levy, and Dawson earlier in this video. But with Orlovsky, I just think he's going to be the more technical striker. He's going to be quicker on his feet. I like his striking defense. And I honestly don't think Collier is going to be able to replicate what he did against Sherman, because let's be honest, Sherman's a trash can. And I just think Arlovsky's going to be able to outstrike Collier for the first 2 rounds and probably play it safe in the third and win by a 29-28 decision. And with Mazany, I know this is a low-level women's MMA fight, but let's be honest, she's the better low-level fighter in this matchup, if that even makes sense. I think she has the better striking, and her wrestling is going to be far away better than Young's. And if she can get her to the ground a couple times, I don't see how she loses this fight. Alright guys, those are my bets so far for UFC Vegas 53. Be sure to check back on this video in the comments section or on Instagram for any added bets. Good luck to everybody who's betting this weekend, and until next time, happy fight night.